Welcome to Coffee with Betsy from journeyoftheheart.today. Today I have another announcement for you, and I do have a few notes. So the first one is the announcement. With much of what I've been talking about on the coffee, a lot of it actually could be done podcast style. So coffee is going to become a podcast. Still live, because that's what I love to do, bring you my raw, unedited me, but bringing it further along. And I'm listening because I'm hearing a click, and I'm wondering if I have a button pushed on my phone. I think I have everything turned off on the phone. I think we're okay. So whatever the click is, it's what it's supposed to be. Coffee this morning is actually a cup of tea. As you can tell by the doorknob, I'm in my office at home. And there's been some things that have been coming up for the last few days, maybe a week, maybe, oh, duh, I got it, okay? Duh is an official word on my podcast. Hopefully, I will keep it no stronger than duh. But no guarantees, because sometimes the best word is a cuss word. Let's just be there. So the topic today is a combination of topics, really. It's about being a victim or choosing not to be a victim. It's about trying. My favorite quote by Yoda, do or do not. And I catch myself now in a do not phase. And that's why I bring it to you today, because you always get to see me raw and unedited. And that means the good times and the bad times. As it carries over from last week, my announcement about taking a mediumship class, that has truly, in and of and by itself, been interesting. And it's not the kind of interesting that I necessarily want to share in public right now. Now, the mediumship class, fabulous class, very informative. I'm going to say but it took me into one of my do or do not phases. Why are we not surprised by that? Because that's what the reality is. Every day we get to choose what we want to do. I've learned to break it down into 10 seconds. What do I want this for the next 10 seconds? Either do it or don't do it. Do it or do something else. So I'm really going to try to keep this on track with the mediumship class, because it is so very important on where all my life, and I'm going to be just real general, all my life, I have found myself stuck in the do or do not. I'll try. I'll either do it or I won't do it. Gosh, it's been about 20 years ago that I learned try just means make a decision. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. What I have learned, because of some of the clients I work with, what I have learned through that is that the clients I work with are the same kind of trauma, wounds, scars that I carry, which makes it truly amazing. And thank you for those who are popped on with me live. I do appreciate you being here with me. And it is I was going to say foggy morning in Central California, but it's not foggy where I'm at, but it is low overcast. But there's no rain coming out of it. So who knows what we're going to get? It's winter in the valley. It just is. But it's actually warmer than usual, I think, for this time of year. But some of the things that come up often in my life are my addictions. And we're just going to call them addictions. They can be addictions to thinking, to chemicals, to alcohol, to behaviors, to watching too much electronic media, to sleeping too much, eating poorly, not exercising. And my addiction is coming up with this mediumship class also. Because what I have discovered, wow, yeah, I knew it was going to not be easy. What I've discovered is that underneath all of them, at some point, at some place, I have a fear going on. I have a fear going on. Part of the fear is being a victim. Take that back a few pages farther. Okay, few years, few decades. Part of that is rejection, abandonment. One of the things I saw recently was a question on Facebook, and I get a lot of my input from Facebook because it triggers my thoughts. But the question had to do with, are you responsible for changing the cellular makeup of your descendants? I've been saying that for a bit now. So often we come into our awakening and we realize that we're here to break a generational thing. And it can be a generational thing that is passed on literally through your genealogical heritage. It can be something that's passed on through your DNA, not just your physical DNA, but your collective DNA. It can be old fears that are just part of our reptile brain that keep us safe, or that try to kill anything that doesn't let us be safe. There we go. You know, we're still pretty primitive. I just saw an article that some of our sea friends are now considered sentient beings. They have feelings. We're taking another curve on this one. Because as sentient beings who have feelings, I know, say that once, how many of us have learned to cut off the feelings, to suppress them, to hide them, to cover them up? I mentioned some of my addictions. Because we don't want the feelings. Now, why does this all tie into the mediumship class? Because we have a very simple exercise that we were supposed to do this week. And it was just sit in peace for 3 minutes. Okay? We're not talking like a 3-hour meditation. This was relax with 3 breaths. Set a timer for 3 minutes and just sit in peace. And the thing we were supposed to do was just ask, what do I need to know? Now, if you want to see a rat brain, a squirrel brain, a monkey brain, if you want to see my brain, it has been everywhere it can possibly be, but thinking on that or releasing everything that's not of that. So where does that come into being a victim? Or not doing something? And I have to just say, you know, part of this being in the present takes me places that I did not see, and it may not occur in that 3-minute time window. But a lot of my resistance in this particular exercise, so many of the places I have played out my addictions is as long as I can hide me and not be honest about me, you will not reject me. That's Another one of those insights. At this point, I did not care. I did not care. It was that important to me for some personal reasons that I'm really not at liberty to share publicly. But I think it will answer some of the questions I've had, at least for the last few years. Some of them for the last few decades. We'll just go there. And I was taught to be a student. Study. Find out. Don't be swayed by what you learn, but learn the information so you can make an informed decision. I have been afraid of being judged for my opinion. Bam! Let's just call it like it is. I'm sure some of you have been judged because you have an opinion that does not agree with your friends and family. And if you want to be part of your friends and family, you need to come in line with them. Chose not to this time. Chose not to hide it. Whew. But there's been so many strange little insights that come outside of that 3-minute time period. What I'm talking about today has been some of that. Letting go of addictions is some of that. One of them that, again, came up this morning is if I buy a product for my business, product can be an oil, a book, a crystal, a deck of cards. It stays as the business. Now, specifically, I'm going to go to the oils because we have an incredible treatment program. Not treatment, an assistance to the body program. It's not a treatment. But I will not use the oils. Check this out. I will not use the oils because I have not been worth it. They're for my business. My business is worth it. But I have not been worth creating my income from my business because I'm not worth it. So, how does this have to do with being a victim? Being a victim lets me blame things out there. Well, where my victimhood, because mostly I have taken out the things out there that allowed me to operate as a victim. My tapes, my memories, my thoughts, those are holding me in the victim of I'm not worth it. I'm not worth it. Today is a choice. I choose not, man, my heart is pounding. My solar plexus is just like doing butterfly things. Because what is happening is I am transitioning. I am transforming. I am transmuting. All of that junk, yes, it's part of me. I will continue to deal with it most of my life. But today I'm making a choice, and that's what it's about. I am choosing not to be a victim, and I so look forward to the day where my friend will teach about not being a victim. So today, I'm going to go sit for my 3 minutes. I tried it earlier this morning. Couldn't get through the chatter. One of the products that I have available to provide sessions with, and I'm going to show you where my victimhood is on that. It's a technological device. My victimhood is telling me I'm old. I don't know how to do technology. I can't understand what I'm reading. I'm a hands-on kind of person. So am I choosing to do it? I haven't been. Because part of what I do is remember the thoughts. When I can't do something perfectly the first time, which is another characteristic, I won't do it. So if I get in to a couple paragraphs and I haven't figured it out all the way to the end, no, I didn't do it right, so I quit. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Part of it, my journey for the last few years has been, you know what, there are so many things that I have left holes in my life. I probably just need to sit down with a specialist, sit down with a therapist, and finally allow someone else to see inside just enough to help guide me on my path again. The Robert Frost poem, Two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled by. You know, the funny part is in that I have always envisioned a lonely, quiet, peaceful trail, but lonely, where I am taking that trail by myself. And I have never until this moment realized that there is no one that I have allowed on that trail with me. Life is interesting. Thank you for letting me share this with you. Thank you for joining my path and not being alone on my path anymore. And thank you for letting me join you. Thank you for joining me this morning. And since it is live, the replay will be coming up in a bit. And one of the technology things that I have learned recently is how to save a video and bring it up on YouTube. So I will be posting this on YouTube and sharing it on some of my other platforms. So thank you so much for letting me know I can just shake off the places where I've been a victim. Blessings, and thank you for joining me at journeyoftheheart.today.